Cool, let's turn to the audience. Does anyone have a question? Here we go.
Hi, you mentioned making the first few enterprise sales for your company. And in my experience, larger corporations require like a more fleshed out product, whereas smaller to medium sized companies will be more willing to work with an early company. So how do you think about the strategy between saying, we want to be an enterprise company, so let's just look for enterprise deals, versus starting to look for small and medium sized deals so that you can eventually do enterprise deals?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I guess the question is, without knowing like the product that you're talking about, but like the question is there a way to break down the solution that you offer into a more narrower scope where you can go into that enterprise organization and maybe not do everything you wish like you will be able to do in a year from now or 2 years from now, but what can you do today, and can you focus on it? I think that's at Upside, like that's exactly what we're doing. We're now working on enterprise opportunities, and we've got a long product roadmap of things that we want to build. They're not they're on a list of stuff, right? But we have enough where we can go into there and deliver data and analytics and kind of through spreadsheets and bubblegum deliver value, but set the right expectation. They're like, hey, we're going to deliver value for this one thing, but over the course of time we will expand to cover X, Y, and Z. So that's how like I think I've done it over the course of my career, and it's working for us now.
And so maybe expanding on that question, it's really, can you sell to enterprise if the product wasn't built for enterprise?
Or if the product is going to be built for enterprise, but it's too early, where enterprise companies are like, we're not ready for this.
And a mid-market is?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit easier to get a mid-market company to say, we're only 30 or 40 salespeople or whatever, we'll try this and work with you and help you build the product, where I think larger corporations are less willing to do so.
Did you tackle deals that were too big for OfferPop, or even Cheetah Mail deals that just ended up being too complex or too big too early on?
No, because I think we carved, like OfferPop, for example, right? Like we had it's a social campaigns platform, right? So we had that tool, but we had this vision of a larger suite with data and analytics and other things. So we narrowed the scope, right, down to something that we know that we could deliver into that organization. We know they'll be happy. Like Unilever at OfferPop was one of our larger clients, and we didn't work with every single brand around the world. Like we picked a couple brands that were willing to be, not guinea pigs, but like willing to take a risk for us, and we delivered value to them. But we get in there with that one thing, and then it's like, oh, and by the way, we can do this now, and then we can do this now, and hey, can you introduce it to another brand? So if you're selling it to salespeople, and it's we were talking to the guy from Forbes here. But like there we go, right in front of my face. But they were saying 90 salespeople. So there's teams within Forbes that are much smaller. So it's like, can you pick a team and say, hey, I'm going to go in and pilot this to one of the teams, and hopefully you pick someone who's managing that team that's a little more entrepreneurial and a little more like willing to see what's out there. I think because you need a little bit of that at the enterprise. But if you're going to deliver value and you're going to help them hit their number or do whatever your product is going to do, then you should. Why would they not try it? And you could narrow the scope to whatever you need it, whatever your product supports.
But it sounds like you didn't sell too far out ahead of the product.
No, because like you're going to lead to. It's just like future selling is a slippery slope, in that, at least in my career, products always like, hey, it's going to be out in Q2. Well, guess what? That's Q3.5. So you also want to manage client expectations, and like I think in this world of buying, and especially now with others like G2 and Yelp sites for very quickly you could get a bad reputation, and I think a lot of people talk, Like I've sold into marketers, and I have a lot of friends who are marketers. Just did an event about a month and a half ago with a bunch of like senior marketers, and they're like, yeah, we talk to each other all the time. Like, you know, what works, what doesn't, what products are you looking at, and you know, that's where word of mouth happens, and you know, you want to make sure you deliver on that.
Cool. We got another question from the audience.